Who's there? It's just me, Stealth with T-Ravis, back with a very important interview with Blake Grosse.
And I present to you Daddy Longlegs David as your interviewer, interviewing...
I'm here today with Student Government President candidate Blake Grosse. And the audience is a big fan. All right, so Blake, why don't you just give everybody a quick 30-second rundown why you'd be the best choice for president?
Sure. Student government is meant to work for the students, and unfortunately, it hasn't been doing that. Under my plan, we're going to perform and bring bold change and action to campus, and we're going to reform our policies to create equitable opportunities for all students. And lastly, we're going to transform our campus to meet the needs of all students of tomorrow.
So Blake, thanks for sharing that with us. Now, how can people vote for you?
Absolutely. Thursday evening, there's a presidential debate, and right following that at 8 p.m., voting will open for all students via your student email.
I didn't know that.
Claire Danner will send you an email. Check your email, and it'll be through SurveyMonkey, and fill that out. You'll have to enter your student ID number, and then you'll have access to vote for one person per slate. We're gonna have to cut.
And now for a short commercial break, sponsored by Bukoff News before Blake delves more into his plan to make Trine a better place. Here at Bukoff News, the most reliable news station in Northeastern Indiana, according to us, we believe Trine University needs a strong leader heading its student government, and we believe Blake Grosse is that leader, and that a vote for Blake is a vote for all of Trine students.
My name is Blake Grosse, and I approve this message.
Blake, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for those who might not know you?
Sure. So on Trine's campus, I came here 3 years ago on the men's volleyball team. And then I had started an organization in the second semester of my freshman year called Student Foundation. It was a philanthropy organization and big goals. The university had sent me to Maryland. I went to Baltimore and spent the weekend there and learned about how we can bring the best philanthropy practices to our campus. And then coming into sophomore year, the university actually decided to end the organization, mainly for funding reasons, as the organization was growing almost faster than the university could handle, I would say. And then that's when I had gotten into student government. Was right after that it ended because I wasn't ready to stop doing that kind of work, being out there with the community and the students. And getting things done, like with Student Foundation, we had brought a philanthropy movie to campus. We had brought more awareness as to all of the buildings that were are donated by alumni, and the importance of giving back to the university once we leave. And then so once I had gotten into student government as a senator, I serve as the Frank School of Education senator, and I've been in that position since the fall of 2019. And continuously serving, and I've held different types of events in the School of Education for our students, whether it be handing out donuts or things like that, just to let students know what's going on. And I enjoy that. That's the work that I enjoy. So that's been my time here on the campus.
Nice. And so what motivated you to run for a step up for president this time?
Yeah, so I had decided last semester, after this year in student government, we had kind of seen, and COVID was a factor, but we had kind of seen a slight downfall with student government, lack of solid leadership from the top, and that's what we were missing. And we just weren't getting the work done for the students that we needed to get done, not work that mattered to the students, that student government can deliver on, because we are the governing body for the students and by the students, and I think sometimes that's overlooked on this campus. And so the whole point of my candidacy is we're going to legitimize student government and make sure that we are governing for the students, and that's my number one priority.
God, that's very cool. And we've seen you've put out some of the details of your plan online, and hopefully Travis puts up a picture of it here. I sent it to him. What plans do you have to enact student government reform? Like you talked about revising the Constitution and like revitalizing the House of Reps and adding senators. Like what's that look like? How are you going to do that?
Right. So let's start with adding senators. So that came from I had been doing my homework, looking at the Constitution and the bylaws, and I'd noticed the last time that we had updated our Constitution was 2012 for a full reform. Now, every time we update it, we update our bylaws and it'll say revised. 2017 was the last time for our Constitution. Still a couple years too many for revisions. As the student population has shifted and we've seen growth within our minority communities, and women on campus have also grown in large numbers than where we were back in 2012 or even 2017. So, adding these senators is only meeting the representation needs of the campus. We open up more senator positions, we can expand our reach as student government and really cover every corner of this campus, because I would say we struggle getting our word out to the students as the governing body. I think we need to work to build coalitions with students and connect to every corner of the campus, and I think we've lacked in that department over the last couple of years. And then House of Representatives. So in the Constitution, and I wouldn't change too much of this part. House of Representatives are not able to start projects or vote, but as much of student government as senators are. And we need to do a better job. So revival of the House of Representatives is including them more, having more meetings. Right now, they only meet monthly. Every few weeks. I believe that the House of Representatives needs to be meeting bi-weekly. I think there's too much business going on the senator side to not keep up with the House of Representatives. I think they need to be informed more than what they are about what we're doing, and how can they be a part of that, because the House of Representatives, for anyone that isn't aware, is all of the student organizations get a representative and they go to student government. And so if we include them more in the process, we're bringing in so many more students. Yeah. If an organization wants to do a project, we're going to encourage them, reach out to one of the senators. They'll sign on to this project if they're interested, and you guys can move forward on that as your own committee and get that done. This administration would encourage all senators and House of Representatives to step up, hold your own events, talk to some students one-on-one. What can we get done that's noticeable for the students?
What's one change around campus you'd like to enact, like as soon as possible if you get elected?
I would love to seriously start advocating for a campus recreation center, because I think our student population is growing. Athletics is huge on this campus, but Hershey gets taken up a lot of times by athletic teams, and that it just puts a constraint on students who aren't in athletics but still want to be healthy and work out. And so we need to have a space that's for all students, and maybe we can leave Hershey for teams, and that's another athletic facility for our athletes. But that's something that I would love to start advocating for, but real reform and change that I'd like to bring to campus is more outdoor seating across the campus, and especially on the academic side of the campus. I think that if there was more places to hang out and relax in between classes, people would stay on that side of campus instead of going back to the room maybe for an hour and a half. You'd have more things to do on that side of campus. So that's the number one goal, especially starting right there in the fall. We've got some good weather, and I'd love to get some seating outdoors for people.
Nice. All right, Blake. Final question. This one is probably race defining. What you have to get into a fight, and which of these options would you rather fight? One duck that is the size of the horse, or 50 horses that are the size of ducks?
That's a tough one. For me, just because I am vertically challenged, I would probably say I would have to do 50 horses that are the size of a duck.
That's a good answer.
Just so they're not taller than me, you know?
That is a fantastic
Right?
answer.
Yeah.
The duck could also fly, and that's what scares me.
I know, yeah. That's the thing. But they take off pretty slow. You could probably catch them out of the air.
The true story is I got asked this at a job interview, like
Really?
straight up, yeah. And so I was like, I got to ask Blake, because this is kind of like a job interview, you know?
For Red's Life, we ask, would you like to take an elephant to work or a giraffe to work? Like when we're interviewing for RAs.
What's the right answer?
If you ask me, it's an elephant. if you ask a majority of the other Res Life staff, it's a giraffe.
Right.
But then ask them who the RD is first. So, elephant must have been the right answer.
All right, thanks for being on Bukoff News interviews.
And that's all for Stuff with T-Ravis and the Bukoff News Crew. Hope you liked the video, hope you like and subscribe, and come back next week for more.